Are you over the age of 62 and either currently living in your home or thinking about buying a new home? Well, today we're talking about reverse mortgages on the Unlocking Doors podcast. I'm here with Michelle Castle of Guild Mortgage, and she's going to answer all of the questions that I have and probably a lot of the questions you have. But if there's a question you have and we don't cover it, be sure and leave a comment down below and we will get to that on another episode, or we can reach out directly and answer that question for you. So, Michelle, whenever I think about reverse mortgages,
they already turned off because you said reverse mortgages.
Yeah. What is a reverse mortgage and why is it for people who are 62 and older? Just what is it?
So a reverse mortgage, also called a no payment mortgage.
Okay.
Because you don't have a payment you have to make.
Okay.
You could choose to make a payment, but it's not required.
Gotcha.
So your balance is building in reverse. So instead of you making a payment that's reducing the payment, your balance is going up every single month if you choose not to make a payment.
Gotcha.
The interest is being added to the balance.
Gotcha. So why would somebody who is, and I've always heard it's, if you're on a fixed income, if you're, maybe a low income or whatever it may be, and you're older, not working, what are the benefits of going with a reverse mortgage? Obviously there's not having to make that payment,
right?
But what are the benefits?
That's the biggest benefit is the fact that you're buying a house and you're not, or you're refinancing the house that you're currently in and not having to make a payment. So let's just think about some scenarios. So if you are in a house right now and you owe money on the house, the payment is the cost of living is going up,
right?
And you're on fixed income,
right?
So it's not like the payment is changing, except if taxes and insurance is changing,
which in Texas,
the taxes aren't going to change, but the insurance is going to, right? So if costs continue to rise, but your income is not keeping up with the cost, then a reverse mortgage might be an option for you, so you're not having to make that monthly payment.
Gotcha.
Now, if you have a lot of equity in their home, you could cash out the equity in your home and still not have a mortgage payment.
Gotcha. So
there's some scenarios where it's all about affordability. Now, there may be times that you choose this option because you have the ability to make the payment, and you're going to make the payment until you retire.
Right.
So you could be 62 years old and say, "Hey, I'm gonna work till I'm 70, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the reverse mortgage now. I'll continue to make the payment every single month, but when I retire and my income goes down, I will stop making the payment."
Gotcha.
So you have flexibility that you wouldn't have if you had a traditional mortgage.
Okay.
So you could purchase a home or refinance using that program.
Right.
Now, you could purchase a home and have enough equity in the home that it's actually, or refinance the home and have enough equity in the home where it's actually you're taking the equity out of your home instead of lump sum monthly. So it helps subsidize the current income that you have.
Gotcha. And I've seen stuff online, which I'm sure, anybody who's considering a reverse mortgage has maybe also seen stuff online, and they hear the word reverse. They maybe have a lot of negative connotations. What are some of the, there's pros to this, but what are some of the cons for somebody who might be in that situation?
Number one, there's a lot of regulation that just recently was placed on them because there were a lot of people doing them incorrectly.
Right.
When I say incorrectly, I mean, it wasn't like they were doing it incorrectly, but they weren't doing it.
They were setting the client up.
Yes, exactly.
For a bad experience.
Yeah. So what's different now is the amount of down payment or equity that you have to keep in the home is greater than it used to be.
Okay.
And the way those are figured is whatever your age is, there's a life expectancy, and the male is different than female. In Texas, you both have to be of the age of 62.
Okay.
So then the amount that you're going to have to put down is going to be based on your age.
Interesting. Okay.
So the younger you are, the more you're going to have to put down because you're going to have that loan longer.
Right.
And so then the interest on it is in appreciation. I mean, we're trying to predict and project out the interest not exceeding the interest plus the balance not exceeding what the value of the home is going to be.
Right.
So the con to having a reverse mortgage is if you and your spouse leave the home, then now you've got to if you and your spouse, if you're both alive, are going to have to make the decision on what you're going to do with the house.
Right.
Are you going to sell the house, or is a family member going to, buy the house?
Right.
And so if you had a traditional mortgage, and you would still have to make that decision, right? Somebody's going to have to pay the house off.
Yeah.
But if you owned it free and clear at that point, then you could give the house to a family member.
Right.
On a reverse mortgage, you still have a balance.
Right. The balance has to be paid off.
Right.
And you've got to come up with that sum. Somebody has to.
Somebody has to.
Right.
So that's a con
Yeah.
if you own the house free and clear. But if it's the only way, if a reverse mortgage is the only way you can remain in your house, or reverse mortgage is the only way that you have the money you need to continue to live, maybe you have some exceptional health cost or some other expenses and you need the money, it's a good option for you.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that you answered those questions. For me personally, because I've had a couple of people reach out saying, asking questions. And like I said, there's a lot. I feel like
there's a lot of misunderstandings.
There's a lot of misunderstandings, maybe some negative connotations. And I think everybody's specific scenario is going to determine if that's the right loan product for them, or if maybe they need to look into some other strategies, which is one thing I love about over at Guild Mortgage. What y'all do is sit people down, talk to them about their options, the pros and cons, and does it make sense for them?
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I'm going to give one scenario.
Yeah.
So we had a customer that called. She has been in her home for several years.
Right.
It's a really large home on acreage. It's more than she can maintain. Her husband is now gone. So she wants to sell that home and buy a home that is easier for her to maintain. Well, with the price of homes, what she can get for her money, even with the equity that she has in her house, because her income is now significantly more than was when she bought her house, and she didn't have her husband's income anymore.
Right.
So she qualified for a $125,000 house. What can you buy at the age of 70 that is easy maintenance for $125,000?
Not a whole lot.
A garage, maybe.
Right.
So with a reverse mortgage, because the way that we are not calculating the debt to income and we're not qualifying people the same, she is able to buy a $250,000 house, and she doesn't have a mortgage payment on it. So it was the difference of her being able to sell a house that that's too big for her to maintain. If we didn't have the reverse option, she's stuck with that house or trying to find some kind of other rental or something so that she could sell her house and be in something that she can maintain.
Gotcha.
So this opened the doors for her to be able to buy something that she wouldn't have been able to purchase otherwise. So, it's just an option. And it's just like you said, it's, if you want to sell your home, you want to buy a home, you just need to put a plan in place and look at all your options.
Awesome. Well, if you are in that position and you're considering a reverse mortgage, or maybe you have a family member who is, like Michelle said, they've got a property that is getting tough to maintain, they're over the age of 62 and they're looking at other options, send them this video, share this information with them, have them reach out to Michelle so they can have a strategy session and talk about what's going to work best for them. Thanks for checking out this episode of Unlocking Doors, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.